Okay.
Jackie, did you get confirmation that Lindsay's going to be here?
No, I haven't heard from her. Let me send her a message.
And as I understand, Jackie, you told me that Mr. Denley was going to try to be here, but wasn't sure.
Yeah, he was going to try, but he sent an email just last night at 10:50 saying he proposed a new time, but I let him know that I can't do that because of the special meeting notice. And if the committee wished to not meet, then, you know, I just, a quorum, you guys just didn't have to show up. And he was concerned about the proposal request being high, and he was concerned that we're not getting enough money in revenue for the lodging to cover any of that. And I kind of explained to him that I had already talked to you guys about, you know, we've only received, we estimate we're going to receive $96,000, and that you guys have been reviewing these carefully and are going to bring your recommendations today.
Okay. Yeah, and I want to move forward with this and get this behind us. You know, council needs to see these and make its approval of it, and then we can get started and people can start planning for next year. If we delay this any longer, it's just going to push us back that much further. So,
Right.
although these are not necessarily easy decisions that we get to make today, so.
Mm-mm. It looks like Lindsay's on.
Okay. Good morning, Lindsay.
Hi.
I don't know where you are, but it looks like a nice place.
I know.
That's just a
Right.
picture that I have. My phone.
I can never get those to work, so I'm sitting in front of a white wall.
I always forget it's on there.
All right, so we're at 9 o'clock, and so let's call this meeting to order and then get moving. If Jackie is able to share her screen and put the agenda up, that helps. Thank you. So I apologize for the Zoom meeting because of some recent contacts and those types of things. The mayor and the city manager decided to forego in-person meetings for the time being. So we are back to the electronic meeting for a while, hopefully not for too long. So we'll call the meeting to order. And the first item there under under roll call, we can see that Amy it appears that Amy looks like she's on, and Lindsay and myself. Mr. Denley is not yet on the meeting. Hopefully he will find the time to do it. But thank you all for attending. And our first item on the agenda is approve the meeting minutes of September 7. And as you've had a chance to look over those meetings, or those minutes, I'm sorry. I've only had 3 cups of coffee, so I'm not quite going yet. Any changes that need to be? Go ahead.
There was no action taken, so that these minutes are pretty just simple. That way this is the section that was added in.
Okay. Any changes that need to be made? Hearing none, what is the desire of the committee?
Motion to approve these minutes.
I second it.
All right. Any discussion or debate on this motion? None. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I too vote aye. The motion passes. These minutes are approved. All right. And once Jackie scrolls back down, I'm sorry, I don't have a paper copy of the agenda in front of me. All right, item B, review the general proposals received for the 2022 lodging tax fund. Make recommendation to city council for approval. And the first item up there is the Sunnyside community float. We've all had a chance to read over these documents. Any comments on the Sunnyside community float document?
I just think with the budget that we had, that it was a little more difficult to reason away. I did go back and listen to city council meetings. So I didn't hear where they specifically what they recommended that they wanted the Miss Sunnyside committee to be funded. But I listened to a few things. So I did suggest that we try to fund the float for 1,000 if possible. And again, it just comes down to basically what Tom was saying, that the budget is just very hard to fit everything in. And I did get a little concerned because they did get funded $2,000 for 2021, but they didn't seem to know that. So that did bring up some concerns that there was good communication going on in the committee to know that they should be trying to spend those funds from the previous year that we had given them. So I understand the need that they have, that the committee has. I completely understand that. I just think that in the time that we really have to be careful balancing tourism that's coming in with money that's going out. We really have to make sure that any money that's going out is really working hard to try to bring people in to town. So I guess that's all I really have.
All right, thank you, Lindsay. Amy, do you have any comments on this?
I feel this, I believe we should fund the float. I don't think we should fund the float at the 10, at what they're requesting. I don't know, $1,000. I was seeing maybe like the 2,000, what we funded them last year. And I know Lindsay was looking at the numbers, like she said, just because I know like 1,000, it's not, I don't know what they can do just because I've built a float before. So, but I know in their expenses and their revenue, they didn't put any estimated for anything as far as like sponsors or, so I feel like, are they not trying to go out to get sponsors in this event? I would like to see a projective of what they are hoping to get, not just kind of, because I feel like they just put zero, like we don't want to try to get something.
Okay, thank you, Amy. So I had a lot of the same kinds of thoughts as well. It's almost as if they are hoping that the LTAC funds are going to fund everything and they're not going to have to do an awful lot. And so I was bothered by the $10,000 request. I think it's awfully high. And my inclination was towards the 2,000. Once again, Lindsay made a very important point, and that's the fact that they didn't spend what they got the last time. And it's like they didn't know they even had it available. So I guess that's kind of the direction that I'm leaning as well. It's not LTAC's job to fund the entire project. It is to help with certain aspects, and they're very specific aspects of the projects. So I don't want anybody to get the idea that we are their sole funding source.
And, I feel like I want to help them because I get it, like, with COVID and everything, it's been tough. But I feel like we opened up, so there could have been possibility of some fundraising or some sponsorship that they could have gone out, because there is businesses that are still willing to sponsor.
No, and that's absolutely true. And one of the things too is that we all have to remember, and I think we're all very, very careful about this. We are this year where we were afraid we were going to be last year.
Yes.
So we need to keep that in mind as well. Any further comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to, say that I came to that $1,000 after doing a lot of other math and really putting it within the budget. So I do understand that. I also, in looking back in having the Miss Sunnyside pageant that just happened and everything, I happened to look back at a lot of stuff. And I feel like in previous years, there's just been a lot more going out and really trying to get people to come to Sunnyside. So I guess I would just, in my recommendation, like to see a little something to the Miss Sunnyside committee. I don't think anybody's here from it. Just a little more of trying to work at that. I understand that COVID did happen, but like Amy said, there were things that you could do to try to help a little bit. And just looking at their expenses, the building rental is $1,600, vehicle expenses $2,000. So I'm good with any numbers in there. It's just understanding that whatever we go for them or give to them, we have to take away from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. So I recommend that we discuss everything else before we do any voting.
Okay. Further comments? Okay, hearing none, Lindsay's just made a recommendation that instead of voting on funds, that we discuss the virtues of all the other proposals first. How do you feel about that, Amy?
I'm good with that, just because I want to see, I have some numbers and it sounds like Lindsay has numbers, so I want to see what, if our numbers are kind of the same, like she said, if we add or take, we have to take from something else, and it's just with what we have in our budget.
Mm-hmm. Okay, then let's look at that. Let's do that and see how that works. What's the next one on our agenda?
The pageant.
The pageant, there we are, okay. All right, so the Miss Sunnyside pageant in 2019, we approved $5,000 for them, and that just went away. They are asking for more than that, but they have a $3,500 lower limit this year. So, they are asking for $5,000 this year. Any comments on the Miss Sunnyside pageant?
My comments are kind of the same as far as the sponsors. They had no sponsors in there. I know they talked about in here that they get out-of-town judges. I went to the pageant. The judges were local. They were from Tri-Cities. So they weren't out-of-town people, like they said in their proposal. And I feel like the same thing, like they want us to fund the whole thing. And I don't see us funding the pageant at all for any of what they're asking. That's just me from what my budget that I kind of proposed in here. And as I was reading it, they had said it was difficult, because of COVID, that they weren't able to fundraise and stuff like that. I did see that candidates were doing car washes and stuff during out. So that's why where it says sponsors and that they put $0 on there. And they didn't, from what I was listening to, a lot of stuff was donated, like the from what the shop that they use for their float and stuff like that was not, they didn't have to pay that expense.
Mhm.
And in here it says that they do pay that expense. So I was a
Right.
little confused.
Okay,
And I
thank
know
you.
the raffles too, they were donated as well.
Mhm.
And they put in here that they spent 2,500 or raffle ticket sales. That's what they have.
Raffle expenses were
Yeah.
250.
250, yeah.
Okay, Lindsay, any comments?
Along the same lines, I really don't believe the pageant does qualify. And same exact thing as I was saying before.
Mhm.
And I was at the pageant too, and I didn't see any a lot of out of town. There were no out of town judges, and I didn't see a lot of out of town other people that were there. I think the pageant is a wonderful community event. I don't think it qualifies as well as the float does.
Very good. Thank you for your comments. I'm kind of tending in the same direction. I want to give them something to help them out, but I don't want to, again, I don't want to underwrite the entire enterprise. And I understand they got a list here of total expenses of $13,500. And yeah, the 5,000 is just going to be not quite half of that. But I honestly think that's asking a lot from us. I think they are capable of doing more. Most of the time, I believe, and again, I haven't had any kids in the pageant. Obviously, I haven't run for Miss Sunnyside, but I think a lot of stuff gets donated. I think most businesses are willing to donate. Shops are willing to donate labor or that type of thing, and because it's just good publicity for their business. And we need to encourage that type of involvement in the community as well. So I am in agreement with the comments that you are making. Once again, though, I do want to give them something. I don't want to completely, not participate in it, but certainly not at the level that they're asking. And that's a little bit of change in thinking from where I was in the past, because in the past I wanted to support them 100% as much as we could. If they asked for 5,000, I wanted to give it to them, but I am coming around to a different way of thinking at this point. So.
One more thing, I also wanted just to caution that we need to be careful when we are funding committees like this because their proposal was not filled out correctly. And I know and I listened to our meetings from the past, and we have denied other people because their forms were not filled out correctly. So I'm not sure. And Jackie, in doing that, I guess just a reminder for next year that will need to be done, because if we start funding proposals that have handwritten items and have incorrect information, then we need to make sure that that's taken in consideration when we're looking at everything else.
So,
if this happens again in the future, do you not want me to present it to you guys? Or, because what I do is I normally will just give it to you guys, and you guys can tell me if you want to pull something, but in the future I can do whatever you guys want me to do. It has handwritten notes. I can just pull it and say sorry, denied. But sometimes I feel like that's not.
Yeah, I would still like to see them. And the only reason I came to this conclusion is because, like I said, I listened to our meetings in the past, and there was a basketball committee, and we said we denied it because their paperwork wasn't filled out correctly. And so I just want to be very careful that we're being fair to everybody.
I understand. The basketball one was like super incomplete. Like, And
Yeah.
they listed Sunnyside School District as the organization, but the Sunnyside School District didn't have anything to do with it. So that was the one that I brought up. Said, hey, this one's this one's
Okay.
not gonna go. It's not gonna fly. So I'll do whatever you guys want me to.
Okay. No, I think it's still a good idea for us to see them. I just wanted to make sure that we're being fair to everybody, I guess.
Yeah, and some of this looks like it just may have been either copy and pasted or the same proposal they used for before, and they just filled in some new current information by hand. I'm not sure. But it's a good point. Because if we have been, and I remember the basketball one was very poorly done, but with the number of years that they've been filling this out, they should probably have a pretty good idea how to do it. So,
Yeah, and then I feel kind of like, are they really reading what we're asking? Because if you're just, because we did make changes in from last time, so it kind of like copy paste. So I know everybody else takes the time to do their proposal and read through it. Like I read through it, even though I'm making changes, I still read through it and make sure. And so I just feel like, you know, we just need to be cautious as well.
right. And just as an aside, you know, we had another project proposal handed in, and I'm looking at that one right now, and they also, on the same place as the pageant and the float, they hand wrote the amounts that they wanted.
Let me look at the application to see if for some reason I missed putting a square in there. Let me look.
No, there's a square in there. I looked. I have it.
So they're able to check the yes or no box.
Yeah, because I had accidentally picked up the wrong proposal for Sunshine Days, and then Jackie had sent the correct ones.
Hmm.
So in there you can see where you can type.
That must have been my mistake because there isn't a box in there.
There's not.
You can type it in there.
Nothing.
Are you not able to?
No.
Okay, so
that
that's
was on me. But I seen it. Let's look at what everybody else submitted. Well, their applications are different. So anybody who submitted the general one will probably have that. So it's just
I think Yakima Valley Tourism, they typed theirs. Because theirs is a general one.
right.
And I know too, it says that you have to give descriptions in there of what, yeah, see, if you look at Yakima Valley Tourism, and they typed it in there.
Correct. I'm wondering if the others didn't go back into to edit it, and they could have done it, or if Yakima Valley Tourism. Yeah, and I'm not going to say that they printed it and typed it because that's how I would have done it.
And then it also says like that they need to put a description, at least 1 to 3 sentences of all the individuals, like kind of what they do, and they just put their name and phone number.
Mm-hmm. And that may have something to do with the fact that everybody just kind of plugs in wherever, and so they don't have necessarily a job title. I don't know, but
because on here it does say like co-director, raffle, but it doesn't say. It says you have to describe too.
they do have. Which one am I looking at here? The Miss Sunnyside Pageant personnel. They listed and a title behind each one. Personnel. So Eva Ramos is Miss Sunnyside Committee board member, project overseer, so on down the line. So they do have that, just not on the first couple of pages. So we may have to modify our application form a little bit to accommodate what we're asking as well. For example, if there's not a box that's easy for them to find and to type in, we can't really fault them for that. But if they are lacking information that we request, we can certainly fault them on that. Okay, any more commentary on this, I'm sorry, Miss Sunnyside pageant?
No.
Okay. Then let's move on to the next one, which is, and I'm seeing Yakima Valley Tourism. No?
Yeah.
It's got to get bigger. Okay. Sorry guys, I'm on my phone. So Yakima Valley Tourism, and find their numbers a second. They're asking for $84,391.74. I think is what, yeah. 2021, we approved them at $56,138.32. So commentary on Yakima Valley Tourism. Who wants to go first?
I guess I can go first because I just had an event. So on here, on their media buys, it says that we're paying for video production, social media promotion, that we're also paying for photographer. And having an event just pass, I did not know, I saw no social media promotion at all in promoting. I went and I looked through their social media. The only thing I saw was French vanilla, and it doesn't even say like Sunnyside, it just says Yakima Valley. And then after that, I saw something for harvest, and it was varietal. The only reason I knew it was varietal because I'm from Sunnyside, but it didn't say like come to Sunnyside. It just said Yakima Valley on there. So I was really disappointed on actually looking, because we're paying, it says $3,000 for social media promotion, and on there I don't see us getting that. The photography, no one checked in with me during the event till I got the email, and we got maybe, I want to say, Jackie, was you think like 30 pictures? Not.
Yeah, it wasn't very many, and I meant to send them a message about that, requesting the non-edited ones, because they do have that that filter on them.
Yeah, they're very filtered. There wasn't really any of the vendors. I didn't see no one taking any videos. And I see, they're asking for a lot. And so I didn't see, and especially on our social media, I don't see anything promoting Sunnyside on there. So I wanted to be aware of that.
Okay. Lindsay?
Okay. Well, that's what I was just gonna say is I was watching the social media, and I'm not sure if we had the social media budget in for 2021, but just sharing the information that the city of Sunnyside has on social media is free. So I was hoping to see that, and I didn't. Like I said, I really went through the budget carefully and put in numbers, and I feel like the events themselves do a lot of the advertising, and I know that Yakima Valley Tourism does a lot also. So we just need to balance that. And I, in putting this in, I kind of took out a lot just because of the budget. So it's stuff that, we're going to lose out on as far as advertising, but I feel like for now, that's what we might need to do. We're giving money to the event center and, excuse me, to the event center and to different events to try to build up our tourism. And so we just really have to balance that because we need marketing and we need the events to bring people here. So I took out a few things, and I just kind of tried to break it up. So percentage wise, everybody was getting about 20% of the budget that we had. So that's what I did. I took out the Western Journey newsletter, the SIP newsletter, and the SIP magazine, and the Yakima Valley map ad. And I think we really need to discuss and think about the Sunnyside travel guide. Just all comes down to budget for me, and making sure that the LTAC money is spent well. That's what it comes down to.
Okay, yeah, those are good comments, all of them. And I guess my only comment, now I didn't get to spend a lot of time at the Sunshine Days. I did see the event and I thought it was very well done, but I didn't pick up on anybody photographing. I know there was somebody there, I just saw the picture scroll by. But the pictures I saw being taken were people on their cell phones snapping pictures. So I didn't notice a photographer, but obviously somebody was there. And the only downside of that is it's kind of after the fact. Like Amy said, there was not a lot of promotion on social media, at least, other than our city website and city Facebook page. And a lot of people in town were sharing that, which was great. Our big concern is bang for the buck. And I think advertising is important. When we met the last time, she talked about being able to track people who came into town and where they spent their money. There's all sorts of ways to be able to do that. But we have a huge responsibility right now towards the budget. If we are going to limit ourselves to $100,000, we've got to do some serious consideration. We're going to have to pull some things that we might otherwise like to have. And we're not going to be able to hold back on that. So I think the comments that you guys made are extremely valid. They were very good. I think others might be more cutting on some of these, on all three of them that we've looked at so far. I think that we can be harsher if we wanted to. So yeah, we're going to have to pull back some on this. And I think as I was cutting through on things, I came to about $37,000, somewhere in that neighborhood, that, cutting, and that would give us at that point. And I was pretty harsh as I was looking at it. So yeah, we're gonna have to talk these numbers through, especially on this one, because there's a lot of things that we may just have to say, yeah, not this time. There's certain things here. For example, it says that it's going to reach 2,500 people, social media promotion, but it's going to cost us $3,000. So that's more than $1 per person. Other things, we're going to reach at Northwest Travel is going to reach 45,000. It's going to cost us almost 10,000. So is that decent rate of return? I am not sure. So we have to work through that. And some of the stuff is unknown. You have the SIP magazine. She was saying it's very big. It's 21,000 circulation. Newsletter, $550. That's not horrible. Okay. Print ads at 40,000, or for reach 45,000 is going to cost us 1,500. Not sure. So yeah, we need to. And again, it's not because we want to cut all of these things out. It's because we just flat out have to. Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, I was a little harsh with my red pencil the other night as I was working on this, and you guys might have more mercy than me on it. It's not that I don't want to do Yakima Valley tourism, but it's the same kind of thing that we're looking at with the other two that we've talked about, the pageant and float. Are these, are we getting the bang that we want out of it, and how much can we give and still help them and still maintain our budget? And
Is it okay? Is it all right if I jump in really fast? I just want to clarify a couple of things just so that we all have a better understanding. I do want to point out that for the photography and the video production,
excuse
sure,
me.
sure, sorry.
I have to make sure it's all right with the rest of the committee if she
Sure,
steps in.
sorry about that.
Committee members, is there any objection if she jumps in with her comments?
No.
Okay.
Thank you very
guys.
much.
Okay, go ahead.
You. And I apologize for jumping the gun like that. But just wanted to point out really fast that the photography and the video production, that is an annual fee that would cover all of your signature events. I just wanted to point that out. It's not just for one single event. And the other thing, just in our own defense, but you know, Sunshine Days, it was pretty last minute prep, at least from when we were notified that it was going to happen. So, you know, with right around 2 weeks notice, it would have been really hard to do any more than we were able to do. But we did do the paid advertising for, I have actually Jennifer here to explain what she was able to do for Sunnyside Sunshine Days. Do you want to speak to that really fast?
Sure. We did run a paid advertisement on social media, and this targeted specifically audiences outside of a convenient drive radius. People would be encouraged to spend the night. We targeted Seattle, Spokane, Portland, Vancouver, Washington, Moses Lake, Wenatchee, Leavenworth, those types of areas where people would be, again, it was a paid advertisement, so it wasn't an organic social post that you would have seen. Typically, you know, we don't want to be targeting our local folks when we're trying to reach tourists. So.
Are we able to see that paid advertisement? Because I've done social media advertisement and I'm able to see it. So I would like to see that we got.
I can send that. Is this what, so this was the image, and I can sure send you a screenshot of the actual ad that ran. And we currently have an ad running for Sunnyside as well, a paid social ad, and it's performing really, really well around fall wine sipping, staying in Sunnyside.
So if I may ask a question, this paid ad that you're putting in there, where would that have been seen? Where could we have seen that on social media?
Well, when I run the advertisement, I target specific communities outside of our local radius. And so you probably would not have been served the ad because you weren't one of the targets. I'm targeting people who live outside of the area so that they will drive here and spend the night.
Okay, so then my question on that is, if I like and share it on my site and it goes out to everybody I know, and I've got friends from, I don't know, from Africa to here, you know, does that not deny me the opportunity to share that and spread that to my friends?
The organic social posts are what you would want to be sharing with your friends and connections on social media. So the organic post that was made by City of Sunnyside is the one that you would be sharing, not necessarily the paid advertisement.
And I did share those. I just didn't see yours. So.
Okay.
Other comments or questions?
Well, she had made a comment about she only had 2 weeks. I know we did this before 2 weeks. We had planning this. If we looked back on our last LTAC meeting, it was before that when I had gotten approval. And then as far as the pictures, I mean, Andrew Hamill gave us probably, I don't know, they're all over social media. That's the only pictures and photographer that we saw. So he did over 200 and some. And he did go around to other, you know, the other Bonzies and French Vanilla, but just for Sunshine Days, I feel like we got way more than what we're actually paying. And she did say that it's for the 3 events, but if we're just getting that for just one event, I don't see us paying that much for photography.
Okay.
Our
Lindsay?
photographer that we sent down, she is a professional photographer, and she tried very, very hard to not capture people wearing masks and in the crowd and at various businesses, because, you know, hopefully by this time next year, masks are going to be obsolete, and photos that we take of people wearing masks are not going to be beneficial to advertising purposes. So she was there. And I think she captured some really fun and some great images.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie.
You're very
Lindsay,
welcome.
Lindsay, comments?
Um,